A real bank cut its XRP forecast by 65% and left the top number standing, $28 for 5,000 XRP. That math ends at $140,000. And the analyst has a name. I'll show you all 5 steps. The first pays $14,000 and what ends each one of them. This is your XRP news desk. The first thing this number has to survive is the supply page on your screen. Roughly 60 billion XRP in circulation. Read the exact count off the page because every forecast has to carry all of them. Multiply that supply by his top number. I did it. And you land at 1.7 trillion. A footprint exactly one asset in this industry's history has carried, and its name is Bitcoin. A research chair at a global bank signed that future away and put his own name over the top. Second, let's meet the ladder and its author, Geoff Kendrick, head of digital assets research at Standard Chartered. Not a hobby account, a research chair at a global bank. Understand what it costs to print a number from a seat like that. A bank forecast goes through compliance, through a research committee, under a legal disclaimer, with the author's career attached to the miss. Chart accounts delete their bad calls overnight. A bank's call is on the record forever. The rarest thing in this niche, a number somebody can be held to. If forecasts with names attached are what you want more of, tap the like, subscribe, and notification bell for more XRP news. Now the steps. Price for your bag out loud. At $2.80, 5,000 XRP is $14,000. At $7, it's $35,000. At $12.60 per XRP, it's $63,000. And at $20 per XRP, that's $100,000. At $28, which is the high, 5,000 XRP is $140,000. The years on that page are his and not mine. $28 per XRP by 2030. And the reason you can trust the shape of the ladder at all is the part almost nobody quotes. Third, the cut is the credential. In spring of 2025, he called XRP's 2026 finish $8. In mid-February, he took 2/3 of that away in public. The headline on your screen prints the surgery, and he told the world exactly why. ETF money leaking out, high rates, geopolitics being ugly. Everybody else's forecaster never blinks. Mine blinked in public by 65%. And that is exactly why the one number he refused to blink on is worth your time. He deletes numbers he stops believing, and $28 is the number he's never deleted. Through the crash, through the cut, and through a Senate that went home, the endpoint stood. And here is the test I run on every number before it reaches a screen. Point at the person or at the page that owns it. Inside a minute. Most of the numbers I chase down fail within 10 seconds. There's no author, no employer, no date. He carries all 3, plus his rarest credential, a cut he never hid. While that sinks in, let me know your price prediction for XRP by 2030. I'd love to hear your take, and I read every comment. Don't forget to smash the like, subscribe, and notification bell while you're down there. Now, what does the standing $28 actually rest on? He named the conditions himself, and so did Ripple's CEO. Here is the $28 case in one sentence from Ripple's own chief executive, and he said it on national television, aimed straight at the leverage crowd. The treasury players borrowing against their own stock to stack coins. His point? Decoded. Borrowed conviction sells on the first margin call. Utility never gets one, and it lines up step by step with what Kendrick requires. His conditions are public. The middle of the ladder, the $7 to $12 range, needs the Clarity Act to pass, a named Senate roll call. The whole climb needs spot XRP ETF inflows beyond $4 billion. The cumulative line sat at $1.49 billion when that roadmap page was written. Call it a third of the way, about $2.5 billion still to arrive. The same page prints the pace, and you don't need to hide it. Launch weeks ran around $200 million. Quiet weeks, low single millions. So the bar needs the wave back, not the trickle. But I can watch that one from my own eyes on the public dashboard. And so can you. A forecast that can't be checked is a horoscope. This one hands you its own scoreboard, which brings us to the last thing, the kill switch. He would have respected you for reading it. Here is the honest counter with a number on it. I went looking for the strongest one. Ripple's own stablecoin, RLUSD, already has $800 million pulled by early summer. Roughly 82% of it sits in just 10 addresses, banks, and trading desks, not retail. And where a desk is offered both lanes, some take the dollar token instead of XRP. That is one argument against the latter worth your attention. And notice though, that is an argument about plumbing, not failure. The network wins customers either way, and the only question is which asset carries the flow. Now weigh in what the bank does. RLUSD runs on the XRP ledger, so every institution it recruits is a user of the exact network the $28 thesis needs. And Kendrick published his endpoint with that stablecoin already live. And notice who still chose those rails. A desk that routes through RLUSD has onboarded to the XRP ledger, learned its custody, and signed its compliance. The exact homework the $28 case needs done. So let me leave with you his ladder the way a desk would actually read it, in order. First, the Clarity Act clears the Senate, a roll call with names on it, and the vote is already queued for the fall season. That is step 1, Washington controls. It unlocks the next 2 steps, and 5,000 XRP walking from $35,000 to over $60,000. Then the ETF line has to triple from that $1 billion to pass the $4 billion bar. The desks doing the buying have names too: Bitwise, Franklin Templeton, Canary. Only then does the last door open. XRP settling real institutional volume every single day. That is when the supply page you saw first carries a $1.7 trillion footprint. That is the door marked $28, where 5,000 XRP reads $140,000. And his is not the only letterhead at the door. The same roadmap page prints Bitwise's own bull model at over $29. 2 desks, 2 different roads, landing $1 apart. Nobody has to take my word for it. The pages are public. A real bank cut his own coin by 65% and still refused to take that door off the map. That is the answer, and it was never mine. It is the latter. One named man is still standing behind. Subscribe, because tomorrow, what a 5,000 XRP bag became this week and who did the moving. The crowd quotes hope, but I handed you a forecast with a real name on it.
You know, everybody from HSBC and SocGen all the way down to, you know, smaller players you've never heard of doing payment processing between the Philippines and Singapore. You know, we do have a conditional OCC charter, which is really for almost belt and suspenders regulatory oversight for our stablecoin business. We launched a stablecoin business 13 months ago. It stands at about number 5 of the largest stablecoins now, which we're in just over a year, we're very proud of.
Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, stack facts and not fear, and I'll see you in the next video.